I'm going to talk about some of the different parts of Hackerbot. So in front of me, I have a Hackerbot AI and a AI Elite Edition. So the base robot is a vacuum. So it has some bump sensors. There's some infrared on the front, so it can detect an auto charge on the charger. Same with the sides. Some more infrared for detecting the charger for when it auto docks. Under here, there's a LiDAR that spins around on the platform. So that's going to be for creating your map and localizing within that map. We have a couple buttons on the top of the vacuum. So this is the power button, this is the home button. If the robot starts moving and you want it to stop, hit the power button and that'll stop it. The home button will make it go back to its charging dock. So we have a mounting plate up on top that doesn't interfere with the LiDAR. Not on the Lite Edition, but anything above, so AI and above, we have 2 time of flights on the front. You can see those. And those are for detecting any objects higher than the LiDAR. So the base itself will, with the bump sensor and the LiDAR, will prevent it from getting stuck. However, we've added other things on top of that, so we need these time of flights to detect anything. So it doesn't get like jammed under like a coffee table or a couch or something. If you do have the light version in your mapping, you'll just want to make sure you watch it while it's driving around or creating its map and just kind of, stand in front of any objects or block them off with something so it doesn't get stuck. Let's see, just some basics. So this is the main controller PCB under here. So this is where the robot vacuum underneath interfaces into this Arduino. So this Arduino here is running the code for the time of flights. It's abstracting any of the commands down to the base because they're kind of a pain to use. So basically this abstracts it so you can just send a command like go to X position, Y position, angle and speed, and that handles all the communication down to the base. There's some boards that can plug into this main controller. That was just kind of to make it more configurable. So this board is a 5-volt regulator. Should be good up to about 8 amps, so you can pull quite a bit of power out of here for your projects. This is the battery charger PCB, and then if you have any 12-volt electronics you need to add up on top, or if you have like the Elite Edition, there's a 12-volt regulator that plugs in here. We're kind of figuring this out as we go, so I probably should have done this a different way, but some of these connectors are the same. So this battery plug is the same as this 5-volt output, which is the same as the 12-volt output. And a couple times we've accidentally plugged the battery not into the battery plug, but into the 5-volt output plug, and that will actually smoke basically every piece of electronics on here. If you plug it into the 5-volt output, the battery into the 5-volt output, it will blow the main controller, it will blow the regulator, the charger, and your Pi or anything else you have connected. So be very, very careful. But we've created these little plugs, these kind of blocks that go into these plugs, so it makes it more difficult to make that mistake. And these plugs are also not super great. Like if you force it, you can actually plug it in backwards, although there should be reverse polarity detection. But just really make sure you're plugging the right things in the right places. For the AI edition, so it does have the Raspberry Pi 5. This one doesn't have it, but the ones that ship all have fans on them, so it'll look a little bit different. We have a USB microphone, USB speaker, and another USB cable that goes around and plugs into the main controller. And then we have a global shutter camera on the front. So on the AI, here you can adjust the angle of it depending on what you want to look at. If you need to look at something on the floor, or if you're more looking up at things up above or people, you can adjust that. And let's see, what else? Also on the bottom of the platform, there's some cliff sensors so it won't drive down your stairs. And then there's 2 charge pads on the bottom, so when it homes or drives back to its dock, it'll drive up on these contacts. So one thing to note, you'll want to make sure that the charger is, up against a nice wall and a little bit clear on both sides. And I have a really, really thick carpet, and I think because of the added things that we put on top of Hackerbot, it causes it to sink down into the carpet a little bit. So my charger directly on the carpet, I think this kind of sits up high and the robot sits lower than it was designed to with the added weight. So it kind of runs in, and it wasn't able to dock, so I had to put it on this, just this thin surface. This is just like a cutting mat for cutting fabric. But I would say, like most carpet, you probably will not need to do that. You can put the charger directly on your floor. Yeah, that's it. So that's kind of the basics. Again, with the Elite, it also has the 6-degree freedom arm and the head. The head has the global shutter camera kind of in the center here, with the LED eyes, and you can change the eye design really easily. Speaker, so this speaker on the Elite is way, way better than the one on the lower versions. Battery is pretty good capacity. I mean, you should get, even if you're really working the Raspberry Pi hard, you should get 2 or 3 hours of battery life. And the charging base, even when driving around, I mean, as long as you're not actually vacuuming, if you have the vacuum turned off, it'll last, I don't know, probably hours and hours for sure, before it needs to charge. So that's kind of the basics of Hackerbot and the different pieces. I guess one last thing, in the head, there are a couple more PCBs. So there's a audio board here that has the audio amplifier, and it controls the LED mouth, which is not lit up now because we're not speaking or playing music. And then it also has a connection to the eyes, so you can control the eyes if you needed to not have them kind of randomly looking around, but you wanted them to look in a different direction. That's all controlled by this board down here, and then the board up above is controlling the Dynamixel servos for the 2 axes for the rotation and the vertical of the head. It also has, everything's running over an I2C bus for communication between all these boards down to the main controller. But there's also a couple quick or stemma connectors up here. So if you have any other sensors you want to add, you can plug those in from like SparkFun or Adafruit. You can plug those in here. And then there is some mounting holes around the top of the head where you can attach those boards easily. All right, so that's the basics of Hackerbots.